he did say on the first night a couple of them cried. He cried, but he said, we didn't tell no one. We just we sorted it out and we were okay. And I was just like, oh God. That was the longest 5 days of my whole entire life. And the moment he got off the bus, I was literally like, I think he's grown. I looked back at Chris.
In 5 days?
I looked back at Chris and I was like, I better put my glass on because I was crying. And he got off. And it was a really weird thing because the man got off the coach and he was unloading everybody's bags, but all the children was on the bus and they were loading them from seat to seat, obviously to not have like a whirlwind. But it was like a mosh pit. All the parents were closing in on the suitcases. You couldn't, and I was like up on my toes trying to see if I could see him. Then I saw him on the bus and I was like, then I felt myself welling up and he got off the bus and he kind of like put his arm around me and I was like, I've given your suitcase to Dad already. Honestly, felt like I was at the airport trying to get me bag off the conveyor belt. I was looking for his little key ring on his bag. I like hoiked it up over my head to get it over the crowd and put it up with Chris and then obviously waited for Colby to come off of the bus. But he was just so incredibly tired. It didn't say too much. He was really, and it wasn't, I guess it was a new thing for me and Chris because he's so talkative, so energetic, so on the go. I don't think I've ever seen him so tired.
Yeah.
Normally you're with them, aren't you, all the time? So when they're having a really, really tired moment, you know that you've had a really long day walking around Disney. Yeah. So you understand why they're tired. So I was obviously pumped. I hadn't slept, I hadn't eaten. I was just like ready to go Friday.
And he was just like really
sat
subdued,
out the school an hour before, rung the school like 30 minutes before the coach come. And I was like, sorry, where am I meant to stand? And she was like, they don't come in for another half an hour. Yeah. I'm not sat outside.
Keen.
I was sat outside, just sat waiting outside. But yeah, he was a little bit quiet and we got home and he nodded off and he had to sleep. But it wasn't until like Saturday when he woke up and I was like, tell me all about it. I want to hear about it. I want to know. Because obviously the children missed each other. Like Dots and Renly missed him so much. So they just went and played. Like he was so lovely to come home and he played with them both. And he was, playing with Renly, then playing with Dots and the three of them. Then he was in the garden on his football and then he wanted to FaceTime my sister and her children. So it was a whole lot. And then, like the next day I was like, I really, really missed you, but I'm so proud of you because I'm beyond proud from my painfully shy, no eye contact, didn't have any friends, very rarely spoke to anybody, just was always just in his own little world and so content there and just didn't want to interact with any children, go to any parties or nothing like that, to this boy now that's just so confident. Like I can't tell you how confident he is and just the fact that he just strolled off with the coach. He went away for 5 days.
Did he have a good time?
He had the best time. And he did say, I really missed you. And he was like, yeah, I was a bit busy really. I didn't really miss you. And then I was a bit like, yeah, no, I was so busy.
Yeah.
So busy I didn't...
Yeah, I was fine, actually.
Didn't iron your pants and socks while you were away. Haven't ironed in a year, but Did
you get to the bottom of the trouser mystery? Why didn't he wear his own trousers?
So I put the whole tracksuit. So before I shut the suitcase in the morning, I said to him, I've put all his outfits. So I did an IKEA sandwich bag, big up IKEA, and I put shorts, t-shirt, pants, socks in each bag. He had 4 bags, 4 outfits, and then I gave him a tracksuit, all black, brand new, from Primark tracksuit that I thought if it gets ruined, gets muddy, it doesn't matter because it will just be like a play tracksuit, like when he's at home playing in the garden. So I went through the whole bag with him in the morning. I was like, this is your hoodie, these are your slippers, here's your wash bag. Went through his whole wash bag, gave him all of his clothes in the sandwich bags, even said to him, this is the tracksuit to put over the top because you're going to go through long grass, there's going to be ticks and things and bugs and stuff in there. So just make sure that this one is just always in your rucksack to go over the top, but I'll leave it in your suitcase so your rucksack's not too heavy. Well, it disappeared from me closing the rucksack and him taking it to the place where he was having his residential, opened the suitcase and unpacked. The suitcase went. So yeah, the tracksuit
went missing. That's why he was wearing someone else's trousers.
Someone else's trousers. It even came home in somebody else's trousers. So I don't know if it was maybe picked up when the boys unpacked in their dorm and it got unpacked and one of the boys picked it up thinking it was theirs and put it into their tracksuit. Hold my hands up. I didn't label it. So, I have got myself to blame because it didn't have his name in it. But I don't know whether one of the other boys picked it up or I really don't know where it's gone. But he goes, oh yeah, actually I do remember you telling me about the tracksuit in the suitcase, the one I was meant to put in my rucksack. Yeah, when you got there, so that you could just take it off and put it on when you feel need to. So yeah, we till this day,
It's a mystery.
it's a mystery as to where the tracksuit has gone.
But he had a good
He had the best time. He did come home and say he missed my cooking. So I was like,
Wow.
honestly, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. But yeah, he got all of his friends in the dorm. He did say on the first night a couple of them cried. He cried, but he said, we didn't tell no one. We just we sorted it out and we were okay. And I was just like,
Oh, God.
it's really brave of you, cops. I was trying not to cry. And he was like, Mum, do you want to take your glass off? I was like, sorry, mate, your hay fever's hit me bad. Since you've been away, the hay fever's
that's
really
so
bad.
sad.
But no, he had the best time and he smashed it.
Yeah.
He smashed it.
They're
What an
young to be
achievement.
away, aren't they?
Really young.
8.
It is really young
Yeah.
to be away. And he's the youngest as well. So some of his friends
Yeah.
are already 9.
Yeah.
Whereas he's the baby of the
He's
year.
only 8.5.
Yeah. So he's only one of the Didier ones. But no. And again, we didn't know who they were going into rooms with, which I think is very good because there was a lady, bless her, that commented on my social media to say the parents are actually worse than the children when choosing for the children to be in a room with their friends.
Yeah.
So we didn't know who they were with. But we did say to Colby, you could be with one friend or you could be with 5 friends. We don't know who you're going to get. But I think it's a wonderful opportunity for them to interact with children they wouldn't maybe
normally.
do. Wouldn't maybe do
I
so
think
at
it's such a
school.
good, it's so good for them. Like I wouldn't have wanted to do that. No way when I was that age. But I wish I had done more stuff like that. I think it would have made me more resilient. Because then when I went to uni at 18, I was pathetic. I was so homesick. I hated being away from home. And I was like,
I hate being away from home
should have
now.
done more when I was younger.
I am
got
pathetic
used to it. Yeah, I
now.
still am like that now.
I am pathetic.
Yeah.
I didn't do no. I couldn't leave home. Too scared to leave my mum and dad. I used to stay home all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if I went to a sleepover, I hated it.
Yeah, it's too much. They were the ones that got the call to say, can you come get her because she doesn't want to stay now. Yeah. But no, the boy smashed it.
Aw.
Absolutely blew it out
Proud
of the
of
water.
him.
I'm proud of him. Honestly, that was so huge for him.
Massive.
Yeah, so huge.
I bet he's so
But
glad he did it.
do you know what? And he come home and he said, do you know what? I'm really proud of myself, Mum.
Yeah.
I'm so glad I did it.
Because he was
And
umming and ahhing, wasn't he?
he said, I think I would have really regretted it if I didn't. So
There you
yeah,
go.
what a big decision though. I
know,
That's
huge.
huge, isn't it?
Bless him.
But there is a couple of mums, I will say, if you're coming up, because I know there is a few mums that messaged it on my social media, their little ones are going at, I think it's around November time. A lot of people do it around November. But if this can be any hope or inspiration to settle your mind as to how they do. I can't speak for myself. I was an emotional wreck the whole week. I didn't fucking cope. I cried. I didn't eat. I didn't sleep. I didn't do fucking anything other than I sat in his bedroom most days, just sat there in his room waiting. I ironed literally his boxer
Smelling his
shorts,
sheets.
sorted all his clothes out in there, sorted his wardrobe, washed his bed, ironed his sheets to put them back on. It looked like a bloody hotel residence up there. So when I say I didn't cope, I feel like that's very normal.
Yes.
That the parents do
Mums
stress.
will have a terrible time or dads will have a terrible
I
time,
think,
but
yeah.
the kids will have
a jolly
great
time. Yeah, just have faith in your babies and it's great for them.